Continuing on part 4 of 4, my final catechesis on the posture of Ad Orientem, which we will celebrate 1 week from today. This final segment of this catechesis, I am addressing what can we learn from celebrating Mass in the posture of Ad Orientem. Well, the well-known Catholic author George Weigel shared some of his benefits of celebrating Mass in the posture of Ad Orientem. He notes these in an article that he wrote, which is entitled, "He's Not Turning His Back to the People." The first thing which he wishes to address is the fact that worship is not about us. The common orientation of priest and people during the liturgy of the Eucharist symbolizes, or perhaps better lives out, the Church's conviction that the Mass is an act of worship offered to the triune God, in which we, the baptized, are privileged to participate. Yes, the liturgy builds the Christian community in its solidarity, but that's one of its effects. It is not its primary purpose. The priest and people praying together toward the Lord can thus be a helpful antidote to the temptation to think of Mass as a ritual of communal self-affirmation, a temptation which is all too common in our contemporary culture of the culture of me. Secondly, Mass leads us upward toward heaven. If properly prepared by thoughtful pastors and liturgists and musicians, the reorientation of the liturgy of the Eucharist would help Catholics deepen our appreciation of the kingdom dimension of the Mass. Remember that the Mass is a foretaste of the wedding feast of the Lamb in the New Jerusalem, which is described by that apostolic visionary, St. John, in Revelation chapter 21. By turning toward together to the Lord, who comes now under the forms of bread and wine, later as the risen Lord, who will hand everything over to his Father so that God may be all in all, the praying church would be regularly reminded that Christians are the people who know how the world's story is going to turn out, that the assurance of God's victory over sin and suffering and death should both comfort us and energize us for our mission. Thirdly, the priest is not a performer. Mass is not a show. The practice of a common orientation during the liturgy of the Eucharist would help mitigate the continuing problem of the priest celebrant who imposes his own personality on the liturgy, a problem which has been exacerbated in recent decades by the celebration of Mass versus populum, or toward the people. In addition, Ad Orientem worship respects the integrity of the human person, both as physical and spiritual. Both body and soul are involved in conversion and worship. Isaiah reminds us, "To me every knee shall bend, by me every tongue shall swear." How important then that our bodily worship harmonize with these invisible realities. Cardinal Sarah, the once prefect of the Congregation of the Discipline of Worships and the Discipline of the Sacraments, wrote, "By this manner of celebrating, we experience even in our bodies the primacy of God and of adoration. We understand that the liturgy is first our participation at the perfect sacrifice of the cross. I have personally had this experience. In celebrating thus with the priest as his head, the assembly is almost physically drawn up by the mystery of the cross at the moment of the elevation." With all of these points in mind, of which I have offered over these past 4 weeks, a reminder that I will be celebrating this Mass in the posture of Ad Orientem along with the 8 a.m. Mass at St. Gregory the Great for the season of Lent. I certainly cordially invite you and those that you know to come and to experience as a parish this broader expression of the holy sacrifice of the Mass.